address of your emergency?
78. Help!
Alien to 911 operator 6180. What's the address of your emergency? 1797 Sumter Street. We're being robbed at gunpoint.
No. They're following me to my house. The guns are already out. She's shooting. Okay.
Hello and welcome to Stop the Threat. My name is James Towle. On this week's episode, we take you to the state of Washington for a reenactment which we have entitled Unlocked Door. And thank you for joining us. On today's reenactment, we're going to see a home burglary gone wrong. This is the worst case scenario. So let's start with some stats here. There's a little over 2 million burglaries a year, which result in some $5 billion in property loss. 15% involve some violence if the homeowner were home, ranging from a mild assault to rape. And 65% of those burglaries, the offender is known by the homeowner. Comes as no surprise to any of us here. Okay, so let's talk about some of the deterrents on a burglary. I think the obvious things are, of course, alarms, okay? I like dogs. What do you like, LT?
Oh, dogs are a wonderful thing to put in your home because burglars are afraid of dogs. Certainly an alarm. Lights, they're afraid of lights. And motion lights, motion activated.
Just to play on that dog thing a minute, it doesn't make any difference how big it is.
No.
I mean, most people want to go, okay, I'm going to get German Shepherds. I like German Shepherds. But it doesn't have to be a big dog. It could be one of those very small dogs that makes a lot of noise, right? It's still you don't know whether that dog is waking somebody up. I mean, so I like dogs, no matter what size they are.
Your statistic was kind of alarming to me. I didn't realize that 65% of the burglars were known to the victims, which kind of makes sense, and it goes to whom you let into your house.
Right.
So you might want to, look at your company and see that, that's the first thing you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do maybe with the neighborhood as well. And I mean, I'm just going to point that out, that if you're gone, and even though you don't know someone 3 houses away, they know you're gone, the conversation probably comes up. I mean, just in casual conversation. Oh yeah, Joneses are gone.
And I teach in my classes to keep a low profile, to not even let people know that you own firearms in your neighborhood. If it's not something that's important for somebody to know, that it's nobody's business.
Okay, so you would go with the idea of not telling people that...
Keeping a very low profile, because what do burglars want? They want to hit places where they know there's something there. And if you brag about your coin collection and your gun collection and what have you, well, that could happen.
You're just attracting a problem.
Exactly.
When you're gone, the other thing is to don't make it obvious you're gone. Leave the spare car parked in the driveway, lights that are going on and off, and maybe even a radio that goes on and off on a timer.
Yeah.
Make sure that you've stopped your mail, stopped your newspaper, and all of those things that we know we should do, but we don't. But the 2 things that burglars are afraid of are dogs and an armed citizen. And they're afraid of the armed citizen until you get the burglar that isn't, where, as Don says...
And that's what we may see. We may see that. But we do have a burglary that did go wrong, so don't go away. I'll show you part 1, and we have a few comments to make. Welcome back, viewers. What we're going to see here is a burglary that has gone wrong. What I'd like you to do is to get a pencil and a paper and begin taking notes on what you may have done. Let's watch part 1. Okay, let's first agree upon this. The wind did not blow the door open. Okay, we can all agree there, right? Now, the wind did not blow that door open. We have someone obviously inside your home. What would you do?
Well, I'll tell you right now, as a citizen, you call somebody, you call the police, because even a police officer arriving at that scene with a radio and a firearm that sees that set of circumstances is going to step back and call backup.
That's right.
So why would a citizen go in and check it out first?
Okay. All right, I like that.
You're not positive that he's still in there. He could have been gone already, but still, either way, you come home and find your door that was deadbolted when you left, and now it's standing open. You have to assume the worst and just back off and call 911.
Okay.
Yeah, don't engage. There's no reason to. It's kind of like the scary movie thing where you know that they're going to go in and they're going to get killed.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I'm going to be tempted to say one other thing. I'm just going to say that I might walk around the house on the outside and look in the window. I might want to have a look around a little bit. I guess I wouldn't rush to 911 until okay, the wind didn't blow the door open, but going on the fact that is he there or not. I mean, if you walked around the house and you looked in, you know your home better than anybody else, so you know where you're going to look and what you're going to see. If there's a light, a flashlight, well, hey, I guess there's no question there, right? Well, but if there's no light, I don't know, I guess I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's gone. I wonder what happened. I might want to look in the window before I call 911. I know you don't agree with me.
No, I don't, because as a police officer, one of the best pinches you can get is a burglar. They create so many problems, you love to get them. And I'm telling you, I got a better chance of catching this guy if you don't alert him to your presence. Step back, give us a call. That's what they pay us for.
Okay, I like that. I do like that answer. That would prevent me from doing my little walk around. Okay, you're right. You're right. Let's give law enforcement every opportunity we can to catch the bad guy. And I might go one more step even on your side, and that would be that if you go in to the house, there could be things there that are going to be evidence, things that you don't want to get involved in, you want law enforcement to be involved in. So that may be another reason not to enter the home and to call 911.
And with my luck, as I'm walking around the building, I'm going to get mistaken for the burglar when the cops roll up.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. What do you think? Anything else?
No, I think that we've pretty much covered on, the better options, the options that you have when you roll up on that. So.
Okay. If I had a flashlight, LT, would I use the flashlight and look inside the house without going in?
Once again, you're going to alert him to your presence. We would rather, meaning law enforcement, have you give us a call and increase. When you know it's a burglary, you don't know it's in progress, you got to assume it's in progress. Mm-hmm. Pull back, call 911 and watch from a distance. And then check for vehicles or accomplices in the area.
Okay.
All right.
Would you agree if I went next door and spoke to my neighbors, got inside and made the 911 call from there? Do you like that?
I like that because there may be accomplices in the area.
When we come back, I'll show you part 2, and I know we have much more to tell you. Yeah, welcome back, viewers. I think we have a burglary that's taking place here that we agree on some things and maybe we don't agree on everything. But let's see what happens in part 2.
Let go! Get out of my house!
shot. I think I see the bullet hole in the wall behind me.
Okay, I told you it was the worst case scenario, right? And I can't think of anything that could get any worse than this. Boy, oh boy, where do you want to start here?
That upsets me. It did not have to happen. If that young man had just exercised a little bit more restraint, he...
Okay, I sort of get the idea that it's your castle and you want to know who invaded your castle. I can understand some of the adrenaline involved. I can understand the fact that I want to go inside. Who broke into my home? But to go in there and do that unarmed, I'm not sure I'm crazy about that thought.
Nothing in there is worth dying for.
I'm going to go with the fact he should have called 911 right off the top. Okay. I'll do that. But I also understand the guy who comes home, finds his door open, and he says, hey. And he wants to know who's in there.
Well, I hope that they watch this episode and they realize that that's just the, you know, I won't say a lot on this show that you shouldn't do anything, but you shouldn't do that. If you have any kind of inclination that there's somebody been in your home or in your home, if there's any forced entry, any weird entry like this, it's just, you just don't go in. You don't do the scary movie thing and go get killed.
Okay, even if you're armed.
Even if you're armed. I mean,
That's right.
as he already addressed it, as police officers, I don't go in that house.
No.
I step back, I wait for backup, I look around and see if there's anything else, and we won't go in with less than 3 people.
Okay.
We'll probably wait for the dog.
That's,
Yeah.
That's a real good point. I mean, okay, I like that.
Clearing a house is extremely dangerous, even for trained professionals. And your average citizen homeowner should never attempt that on their own.
Okay, so going inside the door, flipping on the lights, you don't think that was some advantage?
No, if you're going to enter the house, all you're doing is you're telling them the lights are on. But the problem also is he now knows the burglar is potentially armed because he knows there's a weapon in there. So he's going into a house, realizing the burglar is possibly armed, and even in the case where none exists, you got to realize that most burglars, whether they have a firearm or not, are armed anyway because the tools used for the burglary can double as a weapon. In fact, you'd be surprised how many people are killed each year being stabbed by screwdrivers.
Yeah, sure.
It's incredible. So don't go in, and if you don't remember that, remember these words: don't go in.
Okay. There was a moment there that, okay, he's now inside. He's one of the individuals. Now let's get on his side for a second. Okay, he's one of the individuals who is offended by the fact that his home has been broken into. He sees the door open. He is one of those individuals who has courage. Wait a minute, maybe that's not the right word. Who wants to investigate what's taking place inside of his home. He's not armed, not smart. But is there anything he could have done to change that situation? He's already entered. He's in. Okay, I'm going in. What's the best thing he can do now?
The flip side of that is he's the only one that's rightfully in that house. That's the flip side of that. So what if he does defend himself in there, it is a defensible situation because it's his house. But I don't know what else he could have done other than go to the gun and lights on.
I think maybe he paused a little bit too long, and there was some discussion in the report that he had made contact with the bad guy, and there was a longer period of time when he was trying to decide, is he going to run by me or jump out the window, or am I going to go for the gun? So there was a moment or two in there that we were trying to simulate where there was some thought and exchange between them.
When he did that, I thought he was going to run out the door. That's what I thought, and that would have made the most sense at that point in time. You come in, you've confronted him, oops, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Especially if you know your gun's not loaded. I mean, that goes to how you're going to set up your guns in your house. I mean, if it were in a safe, it would be even worse. But he just had to load it. And is that the amount of time that it took for him to lose that situation? You know, it's that a split second.
Yeah, I would say, well, no, I'm not going to say he was lucky because he wasn't lucky.
Right.
But I'm not sure that if you're going to stage your weapon, that you want to stage it as far away from you as you can. I think you probably want to stage it a little closer. Have it on you is even better.
Yes.
Okay? Everybody like that one?
Without a doubt.
I think it should be on you, and you should have, if it wasn't on you, it was in your vehicle, and you went back to the car and you put it on. Okay, but now we're going down the road of now you're entering with a gun.
Right.
So, okay, I can see where you would do that, but is that still the best course of action?
No.
Everybody's going to say no to that.
No,
right? Even armed, you're going to say, hey, you know what? Wait, because law enforcement won't even go in by themselves.
Exactly.
And I'm running out of time. So when we come back, we'll discuss that a little further. But there is a lot to talk about here. Don't go away. Welcome back, viewers. This is one of those difficult situations where I'm trying to bring the average citizen into this. I can understand the adrenaline rush that you may get finding your door open. And as we said just recently off camera, that if there were another person in there, suppose it was a child, and I don't think there's any doubt that you're going to go in, armed or unarmed. And we hope that you're armed, but you know there's confusion in that statement too. But if there's not another person in there, okay, I'm going to go with you. If there's another person in there and it's your elderly mother or a child, you're probably going to push your way through that door. And if that were the case, how would I handle it? I'm unarmed. I know there's a child or someone in there, and I also know the door's open. So now what? Now you don't even know it's a burglar. Maybe it was something else.
About the best you could hope for would be to possibly create a diversion that person could then maybe escape, and you'd be in essence putting yourself in lieu of them, exchanging their position for yours. I don't know what else to say other than
okay. Would anybody want to backtrack and get on with me about walking around the house? Anybody want to come back to me on that one and maybe come around, walk around the house now?
If that's the scenario and you feel like, you know, if there's somebody in there and they could have just left the door open, sure, you know, take a few steps and take a look and see what you see and see if there's anything out of place. But
okay, that wasn't what took place
right.
here. No. I'm just saying that we should consider that that could have been a possibility. So I guess we can understand the person who, that there is someone in there that he's going to go forward. Even though he's unarmed, he's still going to go forward. And you're going to say flip the lights on as you walk through the house, LT?
Absolutely. At least you can see. And there is a point to be said about if you're unarmed, you should not be defenseless. In other words, I've always been one to believe in the citizens' training in the martial arts. It's good exercise. But if you're not, there's also all kinds of environmental weapons that are available to you at any time that could be devastating in the hands of a good person who's defending themselves.
How about a little shillelagh behind the door?
A shillelagh?
Those of us that are Irish know what that is, but many of our viewers probably don't.
A baseball bat, all right?
Baseball bat, an iron, any kind of environmental weapon. A chair in your hands with I mean, you do this and you drive someone with the legs towards the individual. Actually, it's a devastating weapon.
It is. Yeah.
And you can drive someone out of the room, and once you hit them a quick turn, they'll go, I mean, it's a devastating weapon. Don't try this at home on your brother or sister, but there are all kinds of weapons out there to defend yourself. If it becomes necessary to suddenly have to defend a child that's in your home, because we know what's going to happen there.
Because they're worth dying for.
Absolutely.
Yes. Right. And I think you said that earlier off camera.
Yeah.
Say it again?
Nothing in your house, as far as property is concerned, it should be worth your life. It's not worth dying for.
Right. Okay, I like the idea that maybe you do withdraw and you go next door to your neighbors and you make the 911 call from there. I say that only based upon the fact that you don't know if the guy's coming out and he's armed. So maybe you should get yourself out of the picture and go next door.
Again, there may be accomplices.
Right. At this time, the bad guy has not been identified and not apprehended. The homeowner is bedridden, and that's where it stands at this point. So it was a sad situation all around there. You know, you want to hope that the guy's going to get caught and that the homeowner does recover.
And as it is right now, the fault lies with the criminal, not the victim.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
Correct.
Very good point. Thank you very much for tuning in this week. See me on Facebook or Twitter. I'll see you again next week. Be safe, be trained, be alert.